How big was it?
For the biggest one, it was a 20.
20 each side or 10 each side? Okay, but so you knew, were you here for Magnus's spirit class? Okay, so you were talking about the obliques and, you know, lunges to the full, hit the guy, 3 guys down, all like this. Okay, you understand that part. Okay, so what I started doing is I started studying and paying attention and trying to learn more about melees. At one point in time or another, I had wanted to be the Honorary Order commander for rapier. I hadn't gotten there yet because I was still learning. I was doing smaller units, I was doing regions, but I hadn't got to be the actual army leader. And another thing that I noticed though was, A, we didn't know how to make or break a kill pocket. We had little ideas. We had like the same things that everybody did to make one, but we didn't know how to break one other than to just throw people at it and have a lot of people die to break the kill pocket, right? I'm not okay with that. Even in a res battle, I'm not okay with it. The other thing is that we had a huge tendency that when we wanted to learn new melee practices, we went to one group of people. Can you guess who that is? Knights. We went to knights. And what I discovered is we went to knights because we didn't know and we didn't spend time, we didn't study it enough to have our own tactics. Even if they're the same or very similar, we didn't have our own set of tactics for how to fight melees other than the very basics of stand in a line, move in a line, stay even with the line, etc. That kind of, just the real basics. And then you would have kill teams, right? You would have your 3, 4, 5 people kill teams that would go out the edges and they would try and harry the back. And usually those were the very experienced fighters. And then you would also have slight reserves on the ends. And all they would do was they would step in, when the line was starting to break, they would step into the gap, stop the line from breaking. When the line stopped breaking, they'd get back out. So they'd be able to go ahead and fill another gap, right? These are all good things, very basic things. And we're not really studying advanced melee tactics. And the reason was because we didn't talk about it. Nobody discussed it. Nobody had classes on melee tactics. Nobody put the time in to increase our melee skills. And so I started giving classes. And I don't give a class where I get up here and speak the whole time because I am not the expert. I am not an expert. As a matter of fact, I have asked Magnus the knight to talk to us about spirit because I don't have experience with spirit melees. My melee is before that, right? When we did do spears, you might have RBGs for a scenario once a year, right? Archery, I've seen archery and rapier once my entire career. Been doing this 20 some odd years, right? So my thing is, I'm not so much here to tell you what to do as to let's have a discussion about what to do. And we're gonna, again, I'm gonna ask you to stand up, get your swords, if you have one. If not, we have spears. Grab a buckler, and let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. Very specifically, we're gonna talk about making and breaking a kill pocket, right? So our standard kill pocket is you either have lines spray painted, or you might have hay bales, or you might have an actual fort. I don't know has anyone actually fought in a fort with actual walls and a door? It's amazing because not only can you not shoot over it, but you can't see over it, so you don't know who's hiding back there. And what we really like to do when we form a kill pocket, can I get you 3 please come up here? So let's say that we're going to have our doors, right? So here is the wall here. This is going to be the opening. And we're going to have the other wall here, right? So this is the opening. This is your entire gap to get in or out of whatever. Normally it's you get a war point. At Pensick they had hay bales, and there was a war point for whoever held it, the flags, all that good stuff. So I'll get you to come over here. So what they would do is they would have a person here. You're too close. You need to be that far, right? And all this person has to do is wait for someone to sneak up and then kill them. And then the next guy would be right here. So take his place, Val. Come here. Right? And then they had 10 people holding a war point for all until the very end. And you get, so they take like every 5 minutes or so, if it's 20 minutes, they'll have flags about who controls the war points, the good point, and then the bigger point is who controls it at the end. So they imagine North Shield has 10 people here. That guy, actually as a girl, was sitting down the entire time. Because what would happen is, someone would yell, "Hey, Calvin, we're going to take the..." I'm like, we're not even getting in there. We're going to die. Calvin, get your ass in, right? So somebody who should have known better than to yell at someone, trying to come in 2 people versus 10 in a well-formed kill pocket. So the rule is you don't shoot blind, right? So you can't come up here and stab at somebody that you can't see, right? You have to, at some point in time, endanger yourself. Plus, you're going to hurt somebody. So all I had to do is stand right there, and there's no way I'm coming in here without having my sword out, right? This doesn't have to be a haven. I know they're going to have somebody there. If not, they're really dumb, and they deserve what they're about to get from you, right? But nobody's that dumb. I have not run into anybody that has allowed that to happen. So he sees my sword here, right? So he knows that my hand is not here. Say my hand's there, he's shooting at my hand. He's going to take my hand, right? And that's all he ever needs. At this point in time, he's not shooting blind. He's taking my hand, right? If I get really dumb, he's going to take my head, right? You don't have to hurt me. He should hurt me too, right? So a well-formed kill pocket is very difficult to get rid of intentionally, right? Luckily we don't have people, pouring boiling oil on us from over our head, right? So the question is then, how do we, with let's say a 10-person kill pocket, we're going to have one of these here. Just one person stay here. Mike, can you stay there? Sure. So the question is, how do you get past this kill pocket? And first of all, you can't do it by yourself. Because, first of all, what is the range of the 2 fighters for anybody coming into the kill pocket, right? So I'm not putting my hand where it can get hit, right? Because I'm also not shooting blind. I'm not shooting blind. I'm shooting at what I can see. So someone puts their hand out there. Again, they're having to endanger themselves. I don't. And even if they come around and they can't shoot like he should hit it. And he should hit it. Nobody else has to move. So the rest of the people back in there are for backups for when you do a major push of everybody coming in. However, when you do a major push for everybody coming in, you're not going to come in single file, right? Because if everybody's going to hit you, whether they have a spear, a rapier, or whatever. So the first thing when you're breaking a kill pocket, in my mind, is you got to get enough people. You got enough people that a couple of you are going to die. It's melees, people are going to die. That's what we're there for. Hopefully you get to come back in and it's not the first and only thing you got to do. The second thing you have to do is you have to break that first shot. You have to break that first player. These are war shots. They're not as big as ones, but this is the first thing you can do, which is this. Okay? At this point in time, I am on plane, right? Right? I don't care. Come on, whatever. You're not shooting blind anymore, which will also not put yourself in a place to do it, right? So that's the first thing you have to do. And you can either do it on both sides, or what I like better is to do it on one side at a time. Press yourself through. You've got it. You don't have to use this style. This is just cheap, easy. You could bring a barn door if you had someone like Edward to carry it for you, right? You could just bring the barn door and just do this, right? With your entire door. We don't tend to do that, although it's fun when it happens. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to come up here, right? He's going to be right behind me, and we're going to form a shield wall. You're going to be behind me. Because what we're going to do is we're going to slam in, right? And the best thing that can happen right here, the absolute best thing that can happen right here is the leg. Right? And then I'm here. And you all actually allow to walk, right? And so what we're doing is we're keeping our head hopefully out, right? From arrows or downward shots, stuff like that. And if they get close enough to downward shot, you should be able to hit that. So what you have now is you have a shield that blocks, let me just set that in right. That blocks shots from that direction. So now all of a sudden you've taken away the ability of people to hit you from both sides to one side. You have reduced as best as possible, right? And you get 2 or 3 strokes in there, whatever you need to do. keep this guy, the next guy, and even the next guy, girl, dude, whatever, from attacking the people that are coming in after you. What next? Okay, so you've taken out one side of the attack, right? The next folks that come in don't need to be here. They don't need to follow the same line. I mean, they probably shouldn't. Because you get someone like Lion, Magnus, Mateus, thank you, Mateus, and they're going to shoot over those shields and hit you. So, at that point in time, you can come in with these guys. You still have one person here with a buckler, and another person here that's going to start shooting around that corner and start working. So, what we're doing is like anything else with any small unit melee. Like, if you have 3 people or you have 2 people, if you have 2 people per side, you want to be the guys on the outside running them around and make them react to you, right? So, what I want to do is I'd like everybody to get up, grab a shield, and we're going to work on this. Now, at any point in time, after we go through this first run through, we're going to start talking about it. We're going to start taking suggestions. And we're going to start dissecting, making and breaking a kill pocket. And again, I am only leading the discussion. So even, and again, like I said, we talk tonight because we don't talk among ourselves. So feel free to speak out anytime you want. He's not here.
Inside or outside?
Stay inside. Unless you want to go from the outside. Okay. Keep the buckler. Whatever. We have swords in our hands and we don't have masks on. Please do not dangle your swords out. Very careful. Line will be very pissed off if he has to write this up. So, again, line you're going to step back because you don't want them to be able to shoot at you without being shot at. How about you take one more step back?
Lion, I'm stealing your dagger.
There you go. And again, all you're doing is stopping guys from this. Right? So, I mean, all you have to do is now, one of the reasons, another reason you're stepping back, aside from them not seeing you, is you don't want someone to bind your blade. Right? So all you're doing is you're getting into your, not a full-on lunge, but your step lunge. Right? And we're mirrored over here. So, this guy, I'm going to turn just a little bit more because I want to be able to back him up, whoever's coming in here.
Did you pick up the camera so we can see what's on? Is that right? Yeah. You should be able to just, it's still going, so just want to be able to see what we're doing on John's side.
Too close to you. There you go. I actually don't want you to step any closer than this edge of the sheet. Alright? Unless you're going to lunge into somebody, which I don't think you need to. But again, what you don't want to leave yourself open to is that you sneeze and someone comes around you.
Achoo!
Right. No surprise shot like you need. So, y'all can, if you want, choose to come in one at a time, or you can try and break and take away one of our advantages and kill one. So, what we're going to do is, you're going to lead in, Valor, Mateus is going to come behind you, and then we're going to Charlie come behind you, and then the rest of you should be able to slide in. And we're going to see if we can, if they do this well, get 3 of you up here, and we're going to see if we can reach beyond them to hit y'all as y'all come in at Magnus. Okay? So, when you're ready. So there you are. See you. We're going to start hitting your shield. We're going to try and come over, right? So watch out because the second you come around this corner, he's going to hit you here.
That's what I'm going for, yeah.
Right? So whoever's behind him. And this is why we use war shields instead of little bucklers. Right? If you're going in on that side, put the shield in the other hand. Right? So, and like I said, the best thing that can happen, one of the best things that can happen to you is that you get led. So sit down. At that point in time, curl up. And try now, yeah. And then you come around and you keep coming forward. Now, I'm going to try and get you here, right? Well, also, I got this guy here who's protecting you too, and I've got to watch out for him. Right? Now, remember, what you're doing is not a straight line here. You don't have to hoe this, because remember, they're curving around. Yeah. So what you're going to do is grade here. Yeah. And so when you come in, you're going to start angling this way. Your other option is for you to stop there, and for Charlie to come around you on this side. Now,
I keep you and them busy.
Absolutely. Now, so the thing is, you're never going to curve. You never want to fight them on the curve. You want to be able to push them and come up even with him. So now, Charlie, what you have to worry about is the guy here. He has to worry about the guy here, but with that sword there, and you got to worry about the guy here. Right? So you do have to stop short of their pocket. Because all of a sudden, you have to be really, I don't care if you kill anybody or not. You cannot die. If you die, someone has to come in and replace you. And that's very inefficient, right? So even bigger shields than these are even better, right? But all you three are doing is stopping these guys, these 3 or 4 guys, from getting in. At that point in time, Finch, buckler or no, whatever, is going to come over here and he's, Luke, Finch, you're going to come with him. You're going to either come right beside him or right behind him. Because the second that he comes up and he's engaging these guys, you're going to come up and engage them here. John, you're going to come up. You're going to fit in wherever you can. Now remember, you still got a guy right here. Charlie's protecting you. But don't forget, you've got this guy here still, right? And you've got these. So it's like any other time in the melee when someone has a superior advantage, right? You still got to watch out from all those angles, right? At this point in time, whoever is calling here should say, on my command, push. And you should push. Right? Because also I have those guys, I have that completely set off. They can't come back around here. Maybe they might have reinforcements, but at that point in time, you're on the line. You've got a curve, you're getting curved, but you're on a line again. We know how to fight in a line. Right? So all we've done is we have taken a smaller number of people against a well-defended position, and we've used things that we already know how to do. On the command push, push, and you all push. And you break this side. We have now broken that kill pocket. The point is contested, and hopefully y'all can get back around and kill them off. What are your questions? Now, another way to do this is if you have even more people, is you do that on both sides, and then you push up the center. Now, what happens when you die? You are not allowed to push through your opponent's line, right? What you can do is walk that way, in front.
Yeah, go front.
Go in front. Put your sword up, you're dead. Right?
Body's still in the way.
Your body's still in the way. Is it shitty? Yeah. Is it legal? Yeah. If that's a hay bale, step over it and get out. But you've given these people time, and you've given time for another person to step in. If that's a wall, you might have to go back. Take your advantage where you can, right? Go.
What happens if a marshal sees that there's enough dead populating the field and says hold to clear the dead? Because inevitably what's
stand up and get out.
Okay.
There's no taking advantage of that. As you know, in melees, when the hold is called, you're not allowed to discuss tactics. If you're from Palantir, you have somebody out there teaching everybody Latin. And apparently there's a Latin phrase for ontir, which somehow or another is a Latin word for rhino hide. Or that's when we start saying, hey man, I'm Calvin, how are you? You introduce yourself physically. In the end, what are we fighting for? Okay, we're fighting for the win. I mean, that's really fun. But really, we're fighting because I want to drink with that dude later. I want to see what cool alcohol he has. I want him to compliment me on my alcohols, right? So why are we here? The ultimate reason why we're here is, so the first time I ever taught this, some guy was saying, well, why are we going to do this? If we do this, then they're going to learn how to do this too. I was like, okay, so then we figure out how to break it. Oh, okay. So first we talked about a kill pocket. Then we talked about breaking a kill pocket, right? And then they're going to adjust that too. So we have to figure out a way to cavazione, counter cavazione, step off line, shorten the measure, all of these things, right? All these rapier terms that we've developed have been, all right, we've got this cool move, now it's on counter, so I have to counter, etc. But in the end, what we're all going to be doing is we're going to be fighting in the zombie apocalypse, right? I don't care which side you started before the zombie apocalypse. I don't care if you're from Primaris. I don't care if you're from Ontario, Artemisia, Osteor, wherever. We're all going to be in a line to fight the zombie apocalypse. And that's what we're training for. And anytime we better the art, first of all, we're going to increase our skill, we're going to increase our opponent's skill, increase our skill. And when it comes to the zombie apocalypse, we're going to know how to fight the zombies in mass, in melees, right? So that's my concept of why we're doing this. So what we have now is we have made a kill pocket. We have one way to break the kill pocket. How do we then? The next step is how do we stop people from breaking the kill pocket? So as the defenders of this, and we're not even talking about spear and RBGs and archery yet. So as the defenders, when someone comes up, they've got the shield wall, right? And then they start funneling. And these guys don't have to be good. Okay? They have to be authorized, and they have to know how to not die with a large shield in their hands. That's it. Right? That's who you want over there. They say there's no glory on the line. This is true. Nobody's ever gotten an award for holding a line. All right? So, this is a way to get those guys doing something that's important more than facing off against another 6 month, 6 week, whatever. Just so you know, Don Tybar always fought on the line. And not just because he was so. So, he done his time, and, he felt like that was an important thing to do, was teach people how to fight on. And that's what he did.
He's good at it.
Does anybody not know who Don Tybar was? Don Tybar was the first fencer in the SC.
First white scarf.
He was also the first white scarf. He is the reason why we have fencing in the SC. He, among many others, blood, sweat, and tears to make sure that we had rapier in the SC. Okay. That's Don Tybar. He's from Austin, Texas. Passed away a few years ago from cancer. But that's one of the guys I started fencing. I started fencing in Austin, Texas. Very well. A little bit spoiled. I wish I was as good as I should be. I started with them, but those are the guys. So what you're doing is you're giving those 6 months, a year, not really great fighters, but good fighters, right? Okay fighters. They have to be able to hold a shield. If you got your armored fighters out there, and they're like, I don't know, dude, just put me somewhere. That's perfect for them as well. When rapier fighters go out to the armored field, they love to see us with a spear, right? In Osteor, if you're a rapier fighter and you went out to the field, the majority of folks that went out there first will start off with a spear or archery of some sort. So those are the guys you want to put there. The guys that you want to put here are the guys that can stay alive and throw thrusts. This is where your skills come in, because they have a lot of work coming out over here. So when you are in the kill pocket and you see this forming up, what are you going to do? Get a spear, get your... So on this team, spear on this side, not so good, because you want your shields there. Now, spears are shooting over them.
Yeah, spear right up the middle would be great.
Yeah, spears coming up the middle. So the other thing is also, we don't have the same concept of incidental contact as the armored fighters do, right? The armored fighters, the idea of incidental contact is this. Right? We're going to get mad if somebody does that to us. Right? That's more than incidental contact on our field. So, I mean, certainly if we get here, we're doing something really. Also, these guys, they might get a shorter sword. Because they're not trying to get range. They're actually trying to do this kind of stuff, right? What can you do when you see this coming at you?
Collapse the pocket.
Collapse the pocket. Okay, how would you collapse the pocket?
So it's curved around this way. Collapse it in this way as they're trying to form around. Collapse it in behind them.
Okay, now remember, you've got the horde coming from here.
Yeah.
So if you collapse it in there, good idea is, and so that's a good idea, but you're going to have all those guys at your back, and you're engaged because you're engaged with one.
You have these two kind of tilt in, slow them down. You got these guys.
You flatten the curve. That is my first thought. Flatten the curve to where they can't form in here, but also you've got their back. So if you flatten the curve,
So I'll turn it into a right angle.
yeah.
These guys fold in, they've got all these back.
And then and remember, if you're engaged on one person on the line, you're engaged the entire line.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, this guy here, he's realized, hey, this guy's not trying to hit me, right? Want to go back over there? He's realized, hey, this guy's kind of turtled up. he's not really trying to hit me. They're not coming through. So if we've got them matched, they've got three over here, one of the guys comes over, and all of a sudden, he's got your side and your side.
Yeah, suddenly I'm forced to.
We're forced
Yeah.
to flatten.
So does everybody understand why you have a kill pocket, why you have the curve in the kill pocket? To start with. Is anybody have any question about why you do the curve? Okay. So the curve is now being used against us. So what we do is instead of here, we come and we're flattening the curve. Right? We still got numerical advantage on you. Also, so I kill you, and when you die, you can break the curve by walking out that way. Put your weapons up, walk out that way. If you're in the curve, don't walk out that way. Step back, because hopefully you might have another person who can feel it. But you don't want to, if you're in the curve, if you're the defender, you don't want to break this. I mean, if you do, I would not. Because that is your defense. You're breaking your defense against the people here. If you're losing badly, breaking the curve, breaking the engagement, maybe, but probably not. If you're trying to come in and you walk out that way, you probably get away with it. But if you're defending here and you try to walk out that way, you're probably not getting away with it, right? What's another way? What's another way we could?
To keep them from coming in, is what you're saying?
That is correct. Go ahead.
Put one down. Start shooting at feet. So if you guys were to form back up, like you just come in to break up our kill pocket.
All right,
Okay?
I'll come over here and I'll be at 3.
So if you would come in from here, and like he was saying, to shoot, you're shooting underneath, and John is shooting at your feet. You're gonna go down, right?
Right.
So you would be leg. He would be right here coming across. Anybody on this side of the curve would be trying to shoot at your feet.
Yeah.
Or your body to try and keep him less busy.
So take a knee. It's very different here. I've never done knee walking. All right, so this is other stuff that I have to get used to also. Right? Okay, and now what?
So now Charlie has to fill in that spot.
Right.
And my buddy next to me, which may or may not be Vilif, can shoot to here or shoot to Charlie's legs. Okay? And now at that point, if I have people behind me who are armed with spears or even armed with rapiers,
Yep.
or pistols for that matter, we start making headshots.
Yep. You could also ignore them.
I could.
You can always. So the other thing is, of course, also remember in melees, you can always call a shot worse than what was landed.
Right.
So if you're one of these guys, you might choose to dead and walk out. You might say, Charlie might say, you know what, I've bled out, stand up and walk out in front.
In this kingdom, suicide is a sin.
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. Cardinal sin.
Okay.
Yep.
I did not know that. Good to know. You're still allowed to call low heavier than, or more than,
Leg from behind is found.
Yeah.
so you can make the mobility of the attackers. You can disable the mobility of the attackers. And like even when these 3 guys are down, you, instead of coming forward, could certainly be like the first person that comes in, I'm gonna leg them. So you're not even caring about like they don't even know you're there. You're sitting this far, which is where I would want to sit honestly, is this far back. And the second he comes in seeing this guy, bink, all of a sudden they have lost their momentum. Right? So instead of flattening the line, you stop the momentum of the rush, right? Without incidental contact. Okay,
Well,
so
if you leave on this guy's a liability, this whole line's a liability, I have to step over him.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm now responsible for trying to block for him and block for myself. I'd rather just him die.
Well, that and then
Because
as,
then I can rush forward and take his spot.
and as we were moving in, it was kind of that caterpillar effect of we started getting piled up to where now for every one-man spot, you had a man on the ground and a man behind him going over trying to protect. So
now
it was
again
pushing
we have
ourselves back,
spear. I don't know how often spears are used in melees.
We're getting to it. It's still new.
Is it? Do you see it's something that's going to like take off? Like,
It will definitely change how even this kind of game is played.
yeah.
And then add in on top of the spears, add in bows and arrows.
Yeah.
So we're not even talking about pistols and carbines and rifles yet. We're just talking the basic spear and the basic bow and arrow for this setup. Because at any point, These guys come down and you've got this kill pocket right here, and they're down on their knees. If they have archers that are stationed, that are staggered behind them, and those arrows start coming in on this kill pocket, hopefully this kill pocket has bucklers or shields to use, because it's going to change the game between.
Yeah, you know, if it's not a res battle, archers, spearmen are gonna wipe out the kill
So
pocket.
this is where we have to start, and not that we've excluded them at any point now, but now that we're having the conversations among ourselves about how to do melees better, all of a sudden we're getting to stuff where we don't have expertise and we haven't discussed it. Which is why we're discussing it now, right? Until a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks before war, right? So now where we lack expertise again, we're gonna start bringing in the people who have expertise. The knights, the armor fighters. What I got tired of is nobody ever in the rapier community ever developed its skill. So we always had to go to the knights. And hopefully, you know, and that was like all we could do because we weren't doing it beforehand. We didn't discuss things beforehand. So when we start bringing in spears and archery, how do we then change our defense and attack of a kill pocket? Or do y'all just like straight up do a shield wall across it?
Yeah, we'll end up throwing up a bunch of bodies in there.
Yeah.
To try to bust something up. If we can bust something up in the middle, that's great. Ideally, we're getting it busted up enough that we can hit one of the corners.
Yeah.
And start flooding 2 or 3 people in there. Because if we can start to get people in there, then we can open up that side of the kill pocket, and it's not a kill pocket anymore.
Right.
Because once you get a couple people who know what they're doing in the background,
Start rolling it up.
now, instead of everybody here focus on this, like, somebody's trying to get me from behind.
Now I gotta.
And then you can start flooding people in.
And that's what I said is over here, this is where you start feeding your lions and your, you know, the folks that are just going to go over there and just like massacre. Which is also why you need to make sure you have a little bit of reserve back there. It's like, oh shit, lion's going left. You come in here like, right. Let's always have some reserves.
Yeah, right. I can see if you're using spears to take out the kill pocket, especially like at Ellen's where he's got the actual fortress wall. Rather than aiming for this guy with the spear, who's right against the wall, aim for the second guy in.
Well, so, and you actually bring up a really good point, if I may. So, if I'm coming, y'all clear out real quick. Actually, Charlie, stand right there, and Matthias. So, again, if I'm going to carry a spear in, Charlie's going to be back there, right? All the way back there. I am not going to be able to see Charlie till here, right? Hopefully, they've got a spearman here to hit me in the head, right? So really, what I'm going to be able to do, the only thing I do with a certain amount of safety is hit this guy or hit this guy. At which point in time, Charlie, you should be
Disrupting.
You should be down.
Yep.
You're down or
Take the weapon down.
Take the weapon down.
Or getting
I can't do anything. No, you don't want to do
Nope.
that. You don't want to step that far forward. But maybe you have a spear over here also, right?
Right.
And
See, yeah, and that's what I would say too. My optimum would be instead of a sword, it would be a spear here.
absolutely.
More
So
of
somebody
this.
grab another. Where do we have another spear around here?
There's 2 right there.
Edward, well, okay. Grab a spear. And like I said, maybe you don't have a rapier here, right? Maybe you have a spear right there. Or right there, right? Same thing. Again, I'm not going to try and hit Finch, right? Right? Because at this point in time, they're going to be like, hey, spearman, there's a dude right there. Or, hey, spearman.
Yeah.
Right? There's a dude right there. You should hit me in the head. We still have a spearman here, mind you, because I might turn like this, which means he's going to push it down, right? At that point in time, I have lost all offense and I've got to back out. Or I've got to at least pull out to start over. So, when you're defending, lack of movement is in your favor, right? Sooner or later, it's going to get dark. Sooner or later, something's going to happen. But defense almost always has the advantage. So if you can maintain that defense and not lose the defense there, you're doing good, right? We are the art of defense, right? They don't have cannons to blow down the walls in the SCA, although, you know. So again, the same thing is if I'm coming in and I see
Yeah, as soon as you see that.
V-left. I know loop, but I'm still learning V-left. So, and I'm going to hit V-left, right? Boom. I've got nothing. I've got nothing because I can't hit. So those are spears are. And again, we're gonna have to, that's the duel, right? Maybe I have to come over here, right? Maybe I have a shield man here to defend me. Right? And you are not pushing in. You are not doing anything other than defending me from that shield man. Or from that spear, right? Now I've got something here. Again, we're playing chess here, right? Right? So, that's right. Exactly. Did you see what he just did?
That's exactly
yeah, I'm like, oh, geez, no. But with a spear, right?
Yeah.
And so these are the same duels that you fight on the line, right? These are the same duels, except we have walls that stop our movement, they restrain our movement. Where else does this apply?
Well, this is gonna
Bridge battles. That's right. Exactly. Bridge battles.
This is gonna apply in a bridge battle too. And I mean, if there's a possibility if you have a kill pocket this big, you can actually form up with 3 or 4 guys. One of them have a spear, and 3 other guys with shields, and make your way into that kill pocket just fine.
Yes.
At least for disruption.
Right.
One spear.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like 3 guys with a shield, maybe 1 guy with a spear for disruption.
So, just looking over here, because let's say like yellow and green is the bridge. You 3 right there, there's 3 shields and a spear.
If we're set up like this.
Yeah. Would we have this like a spear?
Yeah. No.
9-foot spear, right?
Sure. So, kill pocket here.
All right, so
we're just walking down this way.
okay, so we have a bridge. It's green to green.
Yeah.
Clear out. Let's get 3 guys over there. 2 with whatever, and 1 with a spear.
Who wants that?
Anybody want shields on this side?
Yeah, then we
No,
want
and
to see
that's the
what's
thing
in front of
is,
me.
you don't necessarily need a shield keep a shield in front of you.
So step back for a second. So
It's a matter of you getting through this.
now, so this scenario is a little bit different because normally in bridge battles you have to push through the other guy. So no longer can someone be in the defense
Right.
and sit there and win strictly on defense. So now it changes. How does it change? Well, again, the armored guys have decades, 50 years of experience with bridge battles, right? So we're back to the duel, right? We're back to the duel, right? And I'm not trying to kill him. I am not trying to kill him at all. I want to kill him, right? Without him hitting me in the head. So first of all, I got to keep him, right? Good job, right? So then, at this point in time, at what point in time does it become important outside of a tournament to be good one-on-one with a spear? And this is it. This is one of them. Because you notice, me and Valor, we were doing a spear with spikes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, does everybody have their cup in?
No.
Hold on. Okay.
If you ask Miles, he doesn't need one. He just parries with his hands. So. Those two, right? No?
Kill those 2.
Yeah. So we've got that steel. So we're having to. So if you want to practice this, you've only got the 2 of you. Put a pal on either side of them. Put a wall on either side of them. Put a shield, hang a shield up either side of them. And you sit here, and the goal is to hit the shield, hit the pal, whatever, 3 times, 5 times without him hitting you in the head, right? And that's the thing. So it's a big spear duel, but you can't let me hit him. And that's when you start working on your 9-foot and start working with the knights, start working with the other spear folks. Yes?
And I'm going to say, we still need to add in bows and arrows too.
Yeah.
Because especially in a bridge battle, so we did honor war.
Yeah.
We did a bridge battle. We did a bridge battle.
Does anybody have any questions with spears before we bring in archery?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. we
Okay,
need
well,
to
no,
bring
we're
it
going to get there in just a second. I want to make sure. What other scenarios would we look at that are similar enough that we can take what we've learned so far, which is fighting on the line, and then fighting to make and break a kill pocket, and then fighting on a bridge? What else can we do before we bring in archery?
If you're just doing a field melee and you've got teams of 5v5, 4 rapiers, and 1 spearman, how would you want to then work with that?
I have no idea.
Spearman bouncing back, 4-man line, spearman bouncing back around.
Yeah. And quite honestly, I wouldn't. I've had 3 shields, a spearman, and an archer. But that's, yeah. But so your unit composition is always going to be based on multiple things: terrain, experience, skill, what's available. Yeah. So this is why I'm giving everybody who wants one a worship. I've got 9 of those from one sheet of plywood, right? They are 16 inches wide by 32 inches long, right? That is the bare minimum size I would have for a worship. But I got 9 of them out of sheet of plywood. That's Gorilla Tape, duct tape around the edges, which keeps the edges protected, and a piece of leather with zip ties on it, right? That's the bare minimum that I as a marshal would pass, right? But it's effective and it's not going to hurt anybody. And that is very thin. I would probably like sand it and paint it, sure. You know. But that's a bare minimum. It cost me, I think, $16, and the rest was scraps. I had sitting around. Right? I don't know how much Gorilla Tape costs, but so it's very cheap to outfit someone for war because they should already have the rest of their stuff or loan or stuff. Give them a shield. Just give them a shield. So, what else do we got before we go into ballistic archery, stuff like that?
Before you hit ballistic archery, you're very safe with a spear.
Yeah.
After you hit ballistic archery, you are no longer very safe with a spear.
So one of the reasons, of course, armored fighters and knights hate archery. Because you can travel 12 hours, get out there, go to fight, lay on, and arrow to the head, and hopefully you're in a res battle.
Yeah.
It's one of those things to go out the first round of a tournament that you've traveled for, and then you're done for the day, and nobody wants to do pickups, right? Yeah, we've all
commanding officer takes an arrow 3 seconds into the fight. You're like,
right. So one of the things is, and rapier fighters have hated spear for that exact same reason, because where do you escalate from? Well, the escalation from spear is ranged weapons. Mm-hmm. It is ranged weapons. What's the escalation from that? We don't have one.
Yeah, actually we do. We have artillery. Interior has an artillery crew.
And there is a cannon in the kingdom.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Charlie. Charlie, you remember what you told me first time I come here? What'd you tell me?
We do it better.
There are certain things y'all do better. So one of the things definitely that Artemisia does better than Allstorm is your judging force. Your A&S judging force. That's beautiful. It takes out so much of the wretched old hag Laurel's judging machine.
Mm-hmm. Which I was going to say, I was like, the cannon kit's only 260.
That's pretty fucking cool, Charlie. Is it on a ship?
It can be.
Okay, put it so on a normal rapier melee field, which we're now doing artillery. Well, not artillery, but we're doing ranged weapons. We don't have a lot of escalation from there, other than having better archers and better shooters.
Yeah.
So now what happens, and somebody's going to help me out, have to help me with this, because quite honestly, when you start bringing in RBGs and you start bringing in archery, you better have a shield. You better have a shield.
Yeah.
And you better be protecting your shield man, because so if I can't kill him and I die, all of a sudden, y'all have got to either scream out, or you've got to get someone else to keep him from killing you, while you defend and keep him from coming across the bridge.
So, bridge battle-wise against archers, big shields on the side, big shields in front, and then front guys practice on working shields while staying alive.
So you're dead.
Well, you're dead, Charlie.
Stay on the bridge.
Yeah.
Don't fall off the
All right. So what are we doing?
I'm just showing, like, once you get the
how we do it.
it's like, hi, your job is to keep us alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a
Charlie,
shield.
you are his shield.
Yes,
you
I
are
know
his
that.
shield. And you don't have to kill him.
So here's
You
one of
just
the most
have to
important
not
things I can
die.
tell you when you have a shield. When you have a shield, don't dodge.
Yeah.
Block.
So,
Because if I'm standing
we're
here
not fighting each
and
other.
you dodge,
We're not fighting each other. I'm trying to do this and trying to keep him from doing other, and all the while, they're also doing practice. No. No way.
Actually, hold a second, because I just did something I don't know if it's legal. Stand back up. I did that.
Yeah. That's legal.
Okay.
okay.
Thank you. So, from what I've seen in melees, the way they start, in armored melees, the way they start is you start in the middle with spear moves. Maybe it's different here, but one of the offshore things that you do is spearmen are out as the lines close. And then, normally, if they'll let me get away with it, I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to start taking down their guys. So the other spears will come out in retaliation as the lines close, and we'll have a spear duel. it may or may not be very effective.
Right.
But then when the lines start getting close, the spearmen
Showing
Bail out.
turn
45.
back through the line, and then the line's close. Now, give me another armor. So anybody here who is fight on? Grab a shield real quick, and you're going to come up against Edward. Okay. Now, against Edward, you're going to oppose each other, right? So with rattan, how close are y'all going to get?
And armor?
What?
In armor.
Okay, you're talking about an
Armor with rattan.
with spears.
With no. I'm talking about rounds. Sword and board.
On melee?
On a melee.
I've never done a melee without spears.
Okay, I can.
Melee-
Well, we're about to
melee without
toss.
spears
So
right
we're going to
here.
toss spears in here in a second.
Yeah.
So in melee with a spear, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck in right here. I'm going to grab his shield and bring it down. Right? Right. And either I'm communicating with the archers behind me, or I say, "Hey, Edward, I'm about to drag his shield down," and then I drag his shield down, right? And hopefully he's got a spearman there to protect him.
Yeah.
Now, with spears, how close would you get?
With 9 foots?
Yeah.
What's 6 feet?
Back here somewhere.
Get up, belly button above it.
Yeah.
Put it on my shoulder.
That's about.
On my shoulder.
I don't want to.
Let's go. Perfect. Yeah, we're here.
So, and so again, we're back in that dual range. Now, what are we going to do with rapier? What are we going to do with rapier on the line? I don't know. Are we going to shoot past it with 9-foot spears? How close are we getting with rapier? Colgrim and Vila stand oppose each other in rapier.
Talking about.
And you have the lines. Yeah.
On the melee.
On the melee with the lines, right? That's about right. Because what we do, quite honestly, what we do in rapier with melee is we come to engagement range and we stop.
Yeah.
Right? And as much as they argue with us not to, I'm not going to close. You're not going to make me close.
This is what happens. You die.
Yeah, you got it. So, and the best we do is on my command, step, right? And hopefully we do it better than this, right?
Yeah.
Right, but exactly, we look at the diagonals, we look at the, I did a lunge at a guy, I've only done it once, 5 down, and came back, and I died on the way back, but I got that fucker.
Yep.
Can I censor these before you post them?
No.
Okay. Oh,
It's not.
it's adults, deal with it. Sorry, Mom. So what are we going to do with spears in rapier melee lines? Well, here, take this. Show it. Take it, show us.
Well, no, I was just making a comment. You made a comment about incident.
Yeah.
So if I have somebody else come down, they can come in.
All right, so first of all, we can't angle your shield like that in melee.
Well, it's hard because this is the leather.
Yeah, I know. So no, but he was here. You can't angle your shield. So one of the reasons I did this is kind of because I'm cheap and I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on stuff I'm giving away. But one of the reasons is that I didn't want anybody to brace it like that. Because the second you brace it like that, big,
Yeah.
you've got to keep it out here, right? As best you can.
I actually have one for non-strap.
Oh, really?
No, I mean,
Right? So, and we're not also doing this, right? So we're here, right? So what are we doing with spears? We're going for headshots.
Well, yeah. That's
Or-
really your only option.
Or, what else? Wait, the shields aren't that big. What else can you do?
Legs.
Edward?
Yeah.
Edward?
Legs.
Go low. Go, crouch in. There you go. Right? Now, one of the things also you need to do is make sure you communicate. Because if I'm a spearman and I've got a rapier shield wall, and y'all stand up real quick, and he's right behind Keyleth, and you're going to go low, what do you need to do first?
Open!
Oh!
Yeah.
Right? So we don't know that command. We don't know the command open.
Right.
So we have to start learning the command. Now, there is a guide on the Artemisia webpage, the Griffin Host Melee Combat. Do y'all use that?
nope,
No?
I've never heard of it.
Okay, on the Artemisia website, God, how do people, I'm new here, fuckers. On the Artemisia website, there is a guide to the Griffin Host melee combat. And I forget what exactly it's called, but it has orders. It has orders of battle, lines. It has all of these things. There are armored fighters just know. They do it. They've been doing it forever.
Yeah, we just do it.
Yeah, it
Look up,
exists. Your name might be on it.
It probably is.
So, these are things that if we're going to do it, we don't need to make up our own commands. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. How much time do I have?
Probably about 10 minutes.
About 10
Yeah,
minutes.
I don't know.
We don't have to, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's really cool.
3:23.
That's not mine.
Whose is this? Oh, that's really cool fish. Thank you. So, we don't have to reinvent